This is the analyzation of two great speakers. Both are Stanford commencement addresses. The first one, speaker number 1, is Oprah Winfrey, and speaker number 2 is Steve Jobs by Emily Saunders. 5 points that were successful for speaker 1, Oprah. She made eye contact with the audience. She rarely looked down at her note cards that I'm guessing her speech was written on. She didn't fidget, and she stood direct while she was giving the speech. She didn't mess with her hair, and she didn't play around with her note cards. She just looked at the audience and talked to them directly. She seemed like she memorized the speech, so she wasn't reading it monotoned off her note cards. She made it lighthearted, which is always good, with jokes, and it wasn't too serious to where you just didn't want to hear it and you just wanted to go jump off a bridge. She displayed a noticeably organized and well thought out speech. 5 points that were successful for speaker number 2, Steve. He took his time, and you could tell that he wrote an organized speech. He spoke up clearly and loudly. He had a message that was appropriate for the occasion, and he knew exactly how he was going to apply his life lessons to the college kids that were graduating and how they would apply it to their life. And he considered the audience when he was writing the speech, and he considered things that they wanted to hear and things that they relate to. And he seemed like he did a lot of research, and he used many quotes, and he made sure they were inspiring to the audience. 5 points of improvement for speaker number 1. She shouldn't have made this statement about her goddaughter so long. I feel like the beginning of the speech started out, and I wasn't sure if she was making a speech about her goddaughter or about the class as a whole. The speaker should have stayed on the topic at hand the entire time. I feel like she got off topic a couple of times, but she successfully recovered. The speaker shouldn't have made fun of the name of the school. I know she was trying to be lighthearted, but some people could have taken that wrongly, the way she was like, Stanford. And the speaker shouldn't have stated that there was no use for her finishing college. That could have offended people as well, that she said there was no use in college since she had already had a job. And the speaker should have stated that she was only going to give them 3 lessons at the beginning instead of the middle of the speech. 5 points of improvement for speaker number 2. The speaker should have memorized the speech more instead of just reading it from the paper so much. He sounded a bit monotoned at times because he seemed like he couldn't ad-lib, that he just had to read it directly off the paper. He should have stood more erect, and he fidgeted with his face a bit, and he should have just gave the speech directly to the audience. The speaker should have made the speech more lighthearted. He seemed a bit serious at times, a bit too serious, and the speaker should have focused on the audience reaction instead of ignoring them. This goes along with the lighthearted part. There seemed a few times where the audience were laughing because they wanted to be lighthearted, and he just kept on being serious, and he didn't even look at the audience. The speaker shouldn't have taken a drink at such an awkward place in the speech. When I was watching the speech, I thought, oh, well, this is the end of the speech, and then he just kept on, and I think the audience thought that it was the end too because they started clapping. He should have said, excuse me, before, so the audience knew that he was going to take a pause. I think Oprah communicated better, and she had better speaking skills, and I feel like she could relate more with the college students because she actually graduated college and got her degree. Speaker number 1 had also the best message, and the whole speech was more relatable as well as the way she presented herself. And speaker number 2 had messages that wouldn't be as easily accepted or taken in by everyone, like the magazine he was talking about in the end that took place in the 70s, and the quotes from it that not everyone would get. And the points that he presented were a little bit awkward. Speaker number one definitely did the best job altogether. Even though they both did great jobs, from the way she presented it, it was more relatable and heart-touching. I feel like I would have appreciated that speech more. I think it was easy for her to make such a great speech and it be so effortless because she does speeches like this all the time. Well, not really speeches, but she talks to audiences all the time because she's a talk show host. The end.